Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 25 of my weight loss journey. I got things started by doing my daily weigh-in where I weighed 329.8 pounds. So pretty much for the last week, we have bounced between 330 and 329 with no real sign of progress, but I'm not going to let that get me down. We've talked about this every morning this week, how the number on the scale is not our focus and that we are just trying to remain consistent in hitting our daily goals, and we'll see change over time. So afterwards, I took my daily progress pictures to hopefully capture some of the changes going on in my body and wrote myself a daily affirmation, which today reads, "Be flexible without compromise." And what that means to me is I've been learning over this journey how even if things don't go how you had planned, you can always make time for your health goals. And so, whether it's super early in the morning or super late at night or going to a gym that you don't normally go to, whatever it might be, if you're traveling, flexibility is a skill that I am practicing on this journey so that when I'm on the other side of it and I'm not able to spend as much time as, I am right now towards my health goals, I'll still be able to do my baseline every day, minimum expectation of myself to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And so practicing that flexibility without compromising what those goals are is really what has been in my mind these last couple of days. So let's talk about today and another opportunity to be flexible. My wife and I have car appointments. We're bringing both of our cars to a dealership that's like 40 minutes away. It's currently 7 a.m. So we're going to be there for who knows how long. And my plan is after we drop the cars off to just go walking and get as many of my steps that I can done. That way I'm not just, sitting around and having to do it later, but making the most of my time. When we're done at the dealership, we're going to come home, obviously, but then I'm going to go help my mom with a few things that she needs help with. The goal is to meal prep today because yesterday we ate out at 2 restaurants, which is obviously not ideal when you're trying to lose weight, even though calorically I was under my daily goal. The foods were processed and whatever. So we won't get into all that, but it's going to be pretty late in the day by the time I'd be meal prepping. So I may stop for breakfast or some kind of food on the way home from the dealership. That way I can at least eat at a somewhat reasonable time, especially if I've been walking and doing cardio. And then we'll reserve our meal prep for, later in the day, my other meals. But aside from that, I want to start my new weightlifting, my new strength training program on the tonal, which is going to be a lot harder. It's an advanced level class. The classes are almost twice as long, but I think that I have been leaving a little bit in the tank each day, and I'm excited to challenge myself, especially when it comes to building muscle. And one other thing to consider is I'd like to start mixing in some form of cardio. A friend of mine was telling me about doing basically HIIT workouts on the elliptical machine, which if you've seen the channel before, I'm a little weary of the elliptical. Every time I've stepped on it, it just feels super awkward. But as a low impact form of cardio, I think it might be great. So not sure if I'm going to be able to fit that in today, but it's something on my radar to potentially be mixing in here soon. So right now we're kind of transitioning. We haven't made it a full month yet, but I think that I'm ready to take on more and to pursue things a little bit more relentlessly than I have previously. Maybe this weight plateau has contributed to that mindset a little bit, but I feel good, and I've been giving myself grace for this last week, and motivated to see what happens today. So let's get after it. All right, so we just dropped off the vehicles at the dealership. It's looking like it's going to be quite the expensive visit, unfortunately. So that's always not fun and bad news. But now they have a walking trail nearby. And it's funny, a couple of years ago, I was on this very walking trail making a video on my TikTok about my weight loss journey and how I was being adaptable and flexible, that instead of just sitting around at the dealership, I was out getting my steps in. And now you fast forward to today, and I'm doing the same exact thing, which is both discouraging and encouraging to me. Thinking about how I'm walking the same steps I've done before. Obviously I didn't keep up with it then, and I went on to gain more weight and put myself in a bad spot. But also speaking towards kind of the resolve that I have to come out and to try again and to start up this whole journey once again. So I don't know how long the cars are going to be there, but if I can knock out all 10,000 of my steps while we're stuck at the dealership anyway, that'd be pretty awesome. So I'm going to walk hard and put on some music and enjoy this nice trail that they have here. But I just wanted to make that note and just talk about how ironic it is and how I'm motivated to see this through and hopefully make this the last time I'm starting one of these journeys. Not the last time I may be walking, but this very trail, but last time I'm starting up again and doing it for weight loss. So anyway, I'm gonna get to it. All right, guys, so I just crossed 4 miles in 84 minutes, which is pretty great considering the alternative would have been sitting down at the dealership playing on my phone. So I'll check in when I get there. I'm walking back to it now, how many steps we're at, but I'm feeling reasonably confident that we'll be done for the day. So good work, everyone. Really hard walk out in the sun, up and down hills at a pretty fast pace, averaging about 21 minutes a mile for me. But really happy to be done with it almost, and proud of myself for doing it. Y'all, do my eyes deceive me? Look at this. Bojangles is one of my favorite restaurants of all time, and now they have breakfast burritos. I didn't know this, but there's a Bojangles right here by the dealership that I walked by. So I was like, you know, since I haven't eaten today, maybe I'll stop in and get me something. And that's when I saw the burritos. But Cass, my wife, was saying there's a chance we might go get sushi after all this. And if that's the case, that's gonna be my only meal for the day. So I better hold off for now. All right, guys, we came to the sushi restaurant.
It's based on your work.
Okay, so a bit of a chaotic afternoon. We did, in fact, go eat sushi, as you guys saw in the previous clips. And we are now home. Got a big bill from the car dealership to repair our main car. And the other maintenance appointment went fine. So just, you know, it's always a bummer having to like shell out cash for stuff like that. But we're back now. On the way home, we not only stopped to help my mom, but I also renewed my gym membership with the gym that is close by to me. I was a member there previously and never really went all that often, as you guys, I'm sure, probably figured out. But they're like a 5 to 7 minute drive from the house, and they have access to obviously free weights, but also additional cardio machines. So bikes, Stairmasters, and things that I just did not have access to up to this point. So I'm really excited about that, and I may start going there for my 30 minutes of cardio a day on top of my 10,000 steps and my weight training. But that is the update for this afternoon. I actually have to go shower and change and then edit yesterday's video because it's coming up on time for that to go live. But just wanted to let you guys know, sushi was delicious. I probably already talked about it, but I did the math as best as I could, and I probably ate close to 2,800 calories, so a little bit over my daily goal, obviously, but between all the exercise and stuff for today, I'm not sweating it, and it's going to be my only meal for the day as well. All right, guys, it is like 5 o'clock, I think. All the clocks in my house are wrong because the power outage. It is time to do the meal prep for today, so I realized I haven't really talked about what we're going to be doing. I found a recipe on TikTok for meal prep pancakes, which is basically just eggs, flour, vanilla yogurt, frozen berries, and a couple other things that you put in the oven, and I guess they kind of taste like pancakes. I got some sugar-free syrup to top them with, and I thought that would be really good, but as far as breakfast goes, it still felt a little incomplete to me. So the other thing I'm going to be prepping, in addition to these pancake bowls, is, you know those like cupcake tin egg cups that people make where you put eggs into the cupcake tray and then other fillings and bake those in the oven as well? So I'm going to do those, and then the macros should come out close to about 900 calories for breakfast, which works out for me. I've realized I'm kind of like a 2 big meal a day kind of person. especially when I'm working out, just because getting all of those calories in with multiple meals is tough for me. So that's all we need to do for the meal prep. For dinners, I've still got protein pasta, meatballs. I got a bunch of broccoli to eat with that as well. So lots of veggies this week. But yeah, so I've never made these before, and I'm a little skeptical it'll turn out okay because this was a TikTok recipe. But I didn't just follow a video blindly. I actually follow a guy who tests TikTok recipes, and he really liked it. It's going to be a lot of food scale measuring and just precise stuff that I'm not used to doing. It's probably going to be hard to film that too, but I'll try to give you guys updates along the way. Alright, so again, sorry about the camera angle. It's going to be hard to film this, but I'm going to be putting all of my ingredients for these pancakes into my meal prep containers, which are oven safe. I've got my food scale and all my ingredients laid out, so I'll kind of just commentate what I'm doing as I follow the recipe here. Also, I already have the oven behind me preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So the first step is adding 2 eggs to each dish. Man, I'm so bad at not getting eggshell in these. At what point do you just eat the eggshell? Never, but it is tempting. I think I'm gonna add all the wet ingredients first, so. Up next, I have this blended Greek yogurt, this 000 Oikos vanilla blended Greek yogurt. So I'm gonna be adding 200 grams of this to each serving. And if you haven't used the food scale before, all I'm going to do is put it in grams, put the bowl with eggs in it, zero out the scale, and then add this until it says 200. Okay, so first bowl has the Greek yogurt added, and I'm just a little skeptical. It looks weird when you're adding in yogurt to raw egg in a bowl. It definitely is a bit odd. All right, so up next we have a teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of honey for each one of these. So I'm gonna do the cinnamon in all of them and then the honey. Next up we've got the honey. I feel like I'd so much rather eyeball this because it's so slow to trickle out. But I'll just do a heaping teaspoon because I'm not getting all the honey from the teaspoon that I'm using to measure with. Alright, so a teaspoon of vanilla extract for each one as well. Oof. Am I the only one that feels like that's a lot? Oh. And then we need 50 grams of flour and 3 grams of baking powder. Now in his recipe, he's using self-rising flour, and I didn't feel like buying all new flour just for this. So I'm gonna be using regular flour, and hopefully it still bakes the right way. He also didn't use Greek yogurt, but that's all my store had. So these could come out rubbery and who knows. What'd you get?
A bowl, a refresher, and a soft taco supreme.
My wife got Taco Bell. I don't think I've had Taco Bell this month.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I'm mixing it all. But look, 50 grams of flour is done for the first bowl. So now I'm gonna go through and just add that to all the others. All right, and then last but not least, 3 grams of baking powder each. What?
I was just hoping you had it turned on.
All right, so now I'm gonna whisk together all the batter in the individual servings before we add in our berries. I don't know how thin this is supposed to be.
Like a batter, just not lumpy.
I know, it's just, well, he used regular yogurt and I use blended Greek yogurt, which online they say you can do that, but it might just come out a little bit more rubbery. Okay, so here is what it looks like, all mixed up. I like the consistency of it. So I'm going to mix the rest of these, and then the last step is going to be to add 100 grams of frozen berries into it, and then we just bake it for 30 minutes.
Well, you definitely got B-roll now.
I mean, I think that's as mixed as it's really going to get. I'm also using a spoon, which is probably not like...
I'll do the next one.
Oh, please, God. My arm needs a break.
Yeah, because the Greek yogurt's not as runny.
Yeah, even the blended one. Alright, my lovely wife helped me stir the rest of these, but now we're going to add them back onto the scale one more time, and we're going to add 100 grams of frozen fruit to each one. Which for the fruit, I just have a 3-berry medley of blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. Y'all, also development on the car thing. While we did pay an exorbitant amount of money for a small repair today, we got a call that they broke our windshield, and so they cracked it, but they're gonna replace it for free. But as a result, we can't pick up our second car until Tuesday. But I was like, yeah, for one repair, we got a new windshield. It sucks for them though. And it sucks a little bit for us, but yeah. You hear that thunder? Okay, so I'm going to transfer all these to the oven. They're going to bake for 30 minutes at 350 degrees and hopefully taste good. All right, so while those are in the oven, I'm going to meal prep the egg cups. And so the first thing I'm going to do is chop up some vegetables for that, which is going to be a white onion and some orange bell pepper. All right, next I'm going to crack 12 eggs into a large bowl and whisk them up. I'm going to take a quick peek into the oven and see how the pancakes are baking. They're looking okay. Only halfway done, so I don't know why I'm surprised that they're not, like, finished, you know? Now, normally I would have just added 1 egg into each of these little cups on the cupcake pan, but my wife didn't want me to scratch them by whisking in them, and that's understandable. I'm also going to be adding salt and pepper to the eggs, and garlic powder. Before I add any ingredients to the pan, I'm going to hit it with some Pam cooking spray. Because I don't want these to get stuck. Now I'm just going to pour some of the eggs into each little cup. Okay, so I tried to make these as even as possible just by eyeballing it, and they turned out pretty good. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of onion and pepper to each one of these as well. And then last but not least, I have a 4-cheese, 2% Mexican blend of shredded cheese and some deli turkey breast that I'm going to be adding as well. So here is the finished result. I'm a little nervous because I know that these are supposed to rise, and these are completely full. But what's the worst that could happen? Alright guys, so I'm going to keep an eye on the eggs and the pancakes in the oven, and I'll give you guys an update when we're done. Oh! They still seem pretty gelatinous in the middle, but maybe they'll settle more once they're cooled. Y'all, these actually look so good. I can't wait to try them. I don't want to clickbait the video, but I'm not going to eat them until tomorrow. So if you guys want to see my reaction to how these taste, you'll have to come back and see tomorrow's video. They are a little runny in the center. I'm worried they might not have baked all the way through, but the edges are starting to brown, and I'm going to be reheating these every morning when I go to eat them in the microwave. So I'm not that worried about it, and I think that this is going to be awesome. Alright guys, so I forgot to set a timer, but these look like the right level of done to me, and they smell amazing. So I am so excited about this week's meal prep. Alright, so there's everything together. We've got the pancake bowls and the egg cups. The idea here is that I'm going to have 1 serving of the pancakes and 2 egg cups every day for breakfast, which should come out to about 900 calories in the morning. All right, so that is going to do it for the meal prep. I'm going to let everything cool before I package it and put it in the fridge. But like I said, if you guys want to see my reaction to how everything tastes, you'll have to come back to tomorrow's video. But I have a feeling that breakfast is going to be my favorite meal of the day. All right, guys. Well, after the meal prep, I was absolutely exhausted and went to bed by 9 p.m. to get lots of sleep. So I appreciate you guys watching the video. Stay motivated, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.